All right, hello class. So this is the discussion of our subject micro tourism element 1. So this is going to be a little long discussion, so I would suggest you to listen attentively and be patient because like I said, it's going to be a little longer than the usual. Okay, now this is something that I have discussed yesterday, but I would like to go on to it very quickly. Now, once again, element 1 is basically focusing on the update and improve of hospitality industry knowledge. Now, the following criterias are to understand the nature of hospitality industry. As we all know, the nature of hospitality industry should be personable. The nature of hospitality industry are the ones who are very entertaining. Okay, that is the nature. That is why if you come into the restaurant and the staff are greeting you, they feel like they like to come back to that particular restaurant once again. Now, 1.2, identify the structure of commercial hospitality, food and beverage accommodations. So, as we all know, the commercial hospitality focuses on the food and beverage, could be a restaurant or restaurant inside the hotel, and accommodations basically talking about the hotel. Next, understand the key elements of commercial hospitality. We're going to touch on that later on. Next, identify the issues, challenges, and trends facing the hospitality industry. Next, identify the career. What kind of job are you going to have after finishing this course? Career prospect of the hospitality industry. Okay. Wait. Next one. Element 2. Managing workplace operations. First, monitor the efficiency and service levels of ongoing basis through close contact day-to-day operation. As what I've told you, the employees have got a direct contact with the guest. Therefore, you'll be able to analyze the needs of the guest through your staff. If they will require more assistance, you'll be able to know that through your staff. Next, 2.2, ensure that the operation in the workplace support overall enterprise goals and quality assurance initiative. Okay, we're gonna touch on that. Identify the quality problems and issues promptly and make appropriate adjustments. So as a manager, how are you going to solve a particular problem? And of course, as an employee, it is important for you to know that when it comes to the point that if you make a mistake, you're gonna have to pay for it in some point. Now, 2.4, next, adjust the procedures and system in a consultation with the colleagues. So this is something to do with your relationship with your colleagues. What is the best practices when it comes to dealing with them? Next, consult colleagues about the ways to improve efficiency and service levels. So we will discuss that in the latter part. Element 3, plan and organize the workflow. How are you going to plan? As you can see in the picture, the plan and organize workflow, you'll be able to do that by following the standards. Hotel standards is something that you should follow. Standards is like a written rules or like a Bible of the organizations that you need to follow. Along with that, you'll be able to follow the organization management by following the core values. Okay, we have it focuses on the quality, responsibility, teamwork, innovation, and trust. Those are the examples of core values. Now, Okay, 3.2, delegate work to appropriate people in accordance with principles of delegation. Once you say delegation, there's a particular person who is perfect for the job. If your staff is very entertaining, knows how to talk to people properly and effectively, then most likely that staff belongs to the podium. He is the perfect person to entertain your guests at the podium. Next, assess the progress against agreed objective and timeline. So it has something to do with the employee and manager. So if the manager gave you a particular task, you just have to comply on it. You're not supposed to complain, but comply. Next, 3.4. Assist colleagues in prioritizing of work through supportive feedback and coaching. So this happens every time you have a new employee. Okay, every time you have a new employee, you as a manager, or whatever you become, or we become a manager in a particular organization, whenever you have a new employee, you are going to endorse that to a staff that can train the new employee properly, okay, for him or for her to be able to absorb the standards of the organization. Next, element 4, as what I have told you yesterday, solve problems and make decisions. So this is once again, this is how you solve the problem. You are going to analyze why is it happening. You're going to analyze what is happening, where it is happening, who are the people involved, and then from that question you are going to line up answers. Okay, that's how you solve the problem. Identify workplace problem, resolve them immediately, and as I keep on saying and then I keep on emphasizing, as an employee, you're not supposed to solve any problems on your own. Instead, you always need to consult your supervisor, because your job is not to solve problems but to serve the customers, and that's it. Your job stops by serving the customers, whether you're in the front office department, whether you're in the F&B department, whether in the housekeeping department. Okay, you don't deal with a problem. Not unless, of course, if you were told by your supervisor, not unless, of course, if you were chosen, or if you are already lined up for the supervisory level, and that is going to be a different story. And of course, whenever you deal with the problems, you're going to monitor the effectiveness and the solution of that workplace. Now, next slide. Understanding the nature of hospitality industry. Let me just check. Okay, what is the nature of hospitality? As you can see in the picture, okay, hospitality is a broad group of business that provides service to customers. So what do you mean by service? Service happens whenever you provide, as we go on to the next slide, we will be talking about tangible and intangible service. But basically, service happens when the customers are satisfied with the food, satisfied with your service. That is customer service. And as we all know, hospitality industry could be airlines, it could be a resort, it could be a hotel, and any other else that has something to do with engaging with people. Hospitality industry, once again, of course, that includes transportation. It could be a cruise line, lodging, and restaurants. Now, we're going to be moving on to the characteristics of the hospitality industry, or what are the characteristics of the person who who are dealing with people. So, characteristics are the following. First one is the product mix. Product mix is talking about the tangible and intangible service. Once you say tangible, this is something that can be touched. Okay, this is something that can be consumed. An intangible service is something that can be seen, is something that can be felt. Okay, example of tangible services are the food. The food that you're going to serve to the guest is a tangible service because they can consume that, they can feel that. Another example of tangible service is the drinks that you're serving. Okay, anything that they can touch, anything that they can eat is part of a tangible service. How about intangible services? Intangible services is something that is coming from within. This is how you smile to them. This is how you approach them properly. These are your positive gestures. Okay, these are the intangible services. Now, another important characteristic of the hospitality industry is the two-way or this is actually two-way communication. Customer and staff. As I keep on saying since yesterday, customer and staff communication is very important. If you are working in a restaurant and you see that the guests are waiting for more than 15 minutes for their main courses, then that is time for you to speak up. That is time for you to move forward and tell them, ladies and gentlemen, I have your main courses coming. It is just so busy right now. It's just so busy right now. Therefore, I need your full understanding of the situation. But I'll see to it that I'll be able to serve your main courses at the same time. So that's how you communicate. So if there will be a delay with the food, if there will be a delay with the drinks, do not just keep quiet. Do not just stand there and say just let them wait. In hospitality industry, it doesn't work like that. It needs a proper communication between staff and the customer. Now, next, relationship building. Relationship building happens whenever you are creating a positive word of mouth. Like this guest that comes into your restaurant, okay, could be your guest or repeat clients. They can come back to your restaurant anytime. They can come back to the hotel anytime. They can come back to the cruise ship anytime because of your engaging personality. How are you going to do that? Because every time you're with them, you always use a positive word of mouth. You talk positive things about the company. You talk positive things about the food, and therefore they will love you for being that kind of person. Now, another characteristic is the diversity in culture. As what I've told you yesterday, as you move on, you'll be dealing with different nationalities, with different belief and traditions. Therefore, it is vital you to understand that different person from different countries has got their own belief and personality. Therefore, you have to respect each other. You're not supposed, or you cannot tell that he is wrong. You cannot tell that he is or slow or he's not following the standards. So it doesn't work like that. He is working based on his way of or the way he believes, or based on his culture. And not only that, every time you are dealing with your colleagues, whenever you are dealing with them during your free time, respect their belief and ideas. Okay, another characteristic of hospitality industry is it is labor intensive. It will require a huge amount of people for you to do a job well done. Like in the dining room, you need a bunch of people to serve a lot of guests. In the housekeeping department, you need a lot of room attendants for them to be able to clean properly. Okay, and likewise in the front office department, you need a lot of staff, okay, for them to be able to direct the guests to their rooms. You have the bellboy, starting from the bellboy coming from the door, okay, so on and so forth. So that is labor intensive. Next, element 1.2, identifying the structure of commercial hospitality. There are four pillars. First one is inviting hospitality. What do you mean by inviting? From the word itself, inviting, you need to be personable. As I keep on saying, inviting hospitality means if they are already finished eating in a restaurant, compliment them and wish them or tell them that we would love to see you again with on your next trip. So that's how you invite them. Next, welcoming hospitality is basically talking about the meet and greet. You meet them at the very first step of the hotel. You meet them and greet them with a smile, with the beautiful faces of the employees, beautiful and handsome employees. You know, if you're going to put yourself into the guest shoes, you will feel really good whenever a lot of beautiful faces is going to greet you. So that is part of the welcoming hospitality. Next, service hospitality. Service hospitality based on company standards. So service hospitality basically pertains to, once again, company standards. Company standards is the Bible of the hotel, is the Bible of the company. It tells you what are the specific things that you need to do from 1 to 10, or how many rules do you have. Let's say, first one, as a food and beverage staff, you must be able to achieve the revenue. You must be able to have positive comments. So that is one example or some examples of the company standards. Now, next, farewelling hospitality. Farewelling hospitality is, like I said earlier, once they have stood up or once they are about to leave the hotel, you thank them. You thank them for visiting your hotel. You thank them for patronizing your resort. You thank them for joining the cruise ship over and over again. So they will be excited to come back. They would love to see the staff one more time. So that is farewelling hospitality. Next, we're already in element 1.3, understanding the key elements of commercial hospitality. There are 10 fundamentals elements of the business model. First one is the customer service or customer segments. Later on, where we are going to discuss them one by one, followed by the value proposition. Next is communication, distribution, and sales channels. Next, the customer relationship or customers relationship. Next one is the revenue streams, followed by the key resources. Next is key activities, followed by the key partnerships. Next, we have the cost structure and ways of preserving the model. Okay. We are going to move to the next one. Okay, now we're going to be discussing them one by one. Okay, The two general customer segments are pertaining to the base clients and alternative clients. Base clients are the regular clients, the client or what we call the repeat guests, the clients that comes back to the hotel every now and then because they like the service, because that guest already know the employees, and that guest has already established a good and harmonious relationship. That is the base client. And the next one is the alternative client. Alternative client, okay, normally visits the hotel. They are the ones who visits the hotel not as frequent as the base client. They come to visit your hotel maybe at least once a year. Okay, so they are the alternative client. Now, value proposition. Value proposition focuses on organization, how the organization solves a problem. So, whenever in any industry is not so perfect, it will be facing a certain problem. So with the value proposition, this is the time that you are going to solve the problem. Okay, as I keep on saying, before the problem gets bigger, you need to solve it right away. That's why I keep on saying to you, you're not supposed to handle the problem on your own. Instead, let your supervisor, let your managers handles it, because they know it better a lot than you. No. Next one, communication, distribution, and sales channels. So what are these? Post-channel customer relationship management. The communication distribution channels basically pertains to the suppliers. It can be the suppliers of the food, it can be the suppliers of vegetables and drinks. Having a distribution channels are very important because you need the good integrity of your product. If you say that your steak is coming from Nebraska, Nebraska is known to have a very tender steak. So you should be consistent with that. Next, customer relationship, maintaining a good image. So how are you going to do that customer relationship? Once again, be personable. Once again, be warm and friendly. Once again, be enthusiastic in talking to them, in giving information. Say, good morning, Mr. Smith. And of course, you're going to pull the chair. You're going to put a napkin on their lap. And you are going to give your best smile in front of them. And even if you see them, you see them at the lobby area, even if that is not your working place, you greet them. Okay, do not greet them because they are in your restaurant. Do not just greet them because they're visiting your restaurant. Greet them every time you see them anywhere in the premises of the hotel. That is going to make you a different employee from the others. Okay, next, revenue streams, upselling. So revenue streams. So once again, these are the key elements. Revenue streams, this is very important. In order for the hotel to be successful, you need that revenue. And with that, the revenue is basically coming from the drinks, coming from the food, and coming from any other stuff that the hotel is selling. So from the food, whenever you are in charge, you never are in charge of working in the restaurant, go for the most expensive one, okay, if you think the guest has got a money. So you must be able to read your guest, okay, just by looking at them. Okay, this guest has got a money because he's wearing a Rolex, therefore I can suggest the most expensive steak that we have. Okay, this guest is very elegant, therefore I can suggest the most expensive champagne we have here in the restaurant, which is Dom Perignon from France. Okay, that's how you do it. Next, key resources. Once again, tangible and intangible services. Tangible are the one that they can consume, like the drinks and the food. And intangible are your gestures, are your smiles. Okay. Next, key elements. Type of business. What kind of business? It could be a golf course, it could be a resort. Okay, so these are the key activities. Next one, key partners. Key partners are pertaining to the employees itself. So the employees, so I keep on saying, the employees are the best asset of the company. Without the employees, any company, any organization will not be successful. Therefore, whenever you become a manager, you must be able to take care of your employees. Next, cost structure. Cost structure pertains to lowering the cost. You cannot concentrate merely on the revenue while you are neglecting the cost. The cost pertains to the breakages, okay, mostly breakages. So the breakages of the glasses, because if you break a bunch of glasses, and that is going to be deducted from the revenue, so you must lower the cost or lower the breakages and then maximize the revenue. Ways of preserving the model. Ways of preserving the model is basically up to the style of the manager, on how are they going to plan it, on how are they going to organize it, and how are they going to control it. Later on, we are going to touch on that. Element 1.4, identifying the issues, challenges, and trends facing the hospitality industry. First, sustainable development calls for green hospitality. Green hospitality means to become an eco-friendly. So in every hotels, they are already observing how to become a green hospitality. So green hospitality means you're focusing on profits, people, and planet. So yes, you need the revenue, but of course you should always think of the people, and of course you will have to consider the effect of that on the planet. You cannot focus on the revenue, okay, coming from the people, while neglecting being green, or you just care less about the garbage segregation. You just care less about the hotel being eco-friendly, like reducing the usage of the energy. And so we all know, every time you plug in any machines, it contributes to the heat of the environment. So less energy you use, the more you become eco-friendly. Labor cost, almost 40% of total operating costs. So once again, these are the issues and challenges. Okay, so the labor cost is 40%. As we all know, this is very challenging in the part of hospitality industry, because 40% of the operating cost is coming from the cost is coming from where are you going to pay your employees, or where are you going to take that from. Next, multicultural issues, needs of the world's different cultures. I keep on saying the hospitality industry is very diverse in culture. You'll be working with a lot of nationalities, therefore you're gonna have to respect each other. Higher education challenges of knowledge. Higher education basically talks about the ones who have entered the hospitality. Way back many years ago, on cruise ships, even if you or even if you do not have a degree, but if you've been with the company for a long time, you can be a F&B supervisor even if you come from the dishwashing area, and even if you come from the dish or the galley department, so you can have a career path. So higher education right now, but right now we have more employees who are more knowledgeable, who have finished this course for 4 years. Therefore, they are the ones who are being prioritized. Next, we are still in the issues and the challenges. Operating issues, we have the labor shortages. Shortages because the starting salary of hospitality industry or in the restaurant, particularly in the Philippines, is very low. So because of that, most of the people are, or employee are leaving the industry. Now, moving on, the cost containment, less cost without quality. So this is another thing that you need to consider. Once you're ready in the hospitality industry, you must be able to consider bringing a good quality of food while having a less cost. I know it sounds impossible, but through practice, but through connection, you'll be able to do that. So next, increased competition, hotels everywhere. So this is another issue because there's a lot of hotels that is being established all over the world. They are having more competition, and it's a lot more difficult to gain the guest or to visit their hotel. Next, market segmentation, overlapping brands. Once you say overlapping brands, this is a good example. Marriott Hotel is basically in partnership with the Westin, Starwood, Merdine, Tribute, and a lot more. So once you say, if they like Marriott Hotel, they're already having a confusion which of which is associated or affiliated with Marriott Hotel. So these are the brand extension because they're getting too much. The effect of this to the guest is a big confusion. Increased guest satisfaction and more amenities, less guests being served. So whenever you have more amenities, more amenities means say more facilities. You have the spa, you have the gym, you have the bar. Therefore, you're going to deploy more employees or staff on that particular area, and because of that, they cannot concentrate the service because the guests are scattered around. So that is the effect of the continuous increase of the amenities or facilities. 1.4, identifying the issues. Once again, we're still here. Technological issues. Interactive reservation system. So we all know you millennials are very particular when it comes to the cell phone. You can order food using your cell phone. You can do anything, you can reserve anything using your cell phone, but this is not good for the baby boomers or the ones who are senior in the level of senior citizens right now. They're not so good about it. So that is another issue that the hospital industry is facing. Guest room innovations. So we all know part of being for you to be able to survive in this kind of industry, you need to be innovative. And for you, under the innovations, you must have a huge capital, like the light sensors. Okay, that's part of innovations. Like using the tablet as the menu. So those are part of innovations. Now, another issue is the data mining, because the hotels will be getting the information it can be used by those information are can be deciphered or can be stolen by the hackers. No, as especially right now, there's no such thing as unhackable. Everything could be hacked as soon as these hackers want to do this, want to do it. That's why it is very risky. This is one of the issues that they're facing right now. Okay, another challenge that the hospitality industry is facing is the yield management. The yield management is what? It talks about the peak and off-peak season. If you're the manager, you are going to think of the best way that you are going to sell your hotel or resort during the off-peak season. As we all know, the off-peak season, there are less guests coming into your hotel. That's why you need to come up with the promotions. You need to come up with a plan like buy one, take one ticket going to Boracay, buy one, get one meal, or buy one, get one accommodation. So those are the examples of off-peak season packages. 1.4 still economic issues. Okay, tourism hospitality industry is very dependent on the economy. If the economy is high, therefore it will if the economy is high, meaning said we have a lot of guests or a lot of people visiting the Philippines. With that guest, they will be needing the hotels. So whenever the economy is high, the hotel industry is also booming. Globalization, local products given less attention. Another problem or another issue is globalization. If you are the owner of the hotel, most of the time you have a foreign guest. Because you have a foreign guest, you will be purchasing cereals coming from basically coming from United States or anything that is not a product of the Philippines. Therefore, the local products are given less attention because of your foreign guest. Okay, element 1.5. I think I'm gonna have to pause on this. However, I will have to continue. Please pause. I might call you, some of you, in random order, and I will throw a question on you. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you on the next part of this discussion.